It's time for another short video update. Seems like this week was a lot like last week. Not a lot of difference in the routine. We had all of our online stuff. Gwen had the ladies meeting.
Yeah.
How many ladies do you have on your
I had
Zoom meeting?
12 this week, so that was
12.
good for a first time back in a month or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so ladies meeting. I had the men's Bible study on Friday. We're thinking about changing up the schedule a little bit. The ladies like studying at night, but the men are good in the daytime, so we're gonna do 10 o'clock for the men on Friday morning, 7 o'clock, is that right, for the ladies, Saturday
7.
night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tonight we've got our prayer meeting and several other things going on, but mostly using Zoom. And I think it would be good if we just took some time to explain why we do so much online. The people we're ministering to are ethnic Christians born in Pakistan. Most of them are unsaved. They're ethnic Christians. They're persecuted because of their ethnicity in Pakistan by the majority, and they can only get to a few countries without a pre-approved visa. And one of those countries they can get to is Thailand. And because it's a Buddhist majority country, they all come here. There's about 8,000 Pakistani ethnic Christians in Bangkok. Once they get here, they go down to the United Nations and they apply for asylum because they've been persecuted because of their ethnicity by a majority in their home country, exactly like they're supposed to do. Their visa expires within 60 days, right? Is it 60?
Yes, 60.
60 days. After that point in time, they are here illegally. They've overstayed their visa. The government of Thailand is not interested in whether they are refugees or not. It makes them no difference whatsoever. If you've overstayed your visa, then you've broken their laws and you go to prison. Well, it's their country and they get to make their laws. So what do you do if you're persecuted and you come here and you go to the United Nations, you do what you're supposed to do, you apply for asylum. The United Nations takes an exceedingly long amount of time to give you an answer as to whether they are going to classify you as a refugee or not. You have to prove certain things. That process usually takes about 4 years before you can get an interview, and then an additional 2 or 3 years if they have some questions after that. So it's usually around 6 or 7 years before you can get classified as a refugee or not. After that, it takes them another 3 or 4 years to move you to another country. The United Nations can't help you while you are here in Thailand. If you've overstayed your visa, you've broken federal law, you're going to go to a prison. So what they do is they get here, they go to the United Nations, they apply for asylum, and then they wait for the United Nations. And they hide. They hide in their little apartments. They work jobs on the side. They try to get jobs online. They have friends and family in Pakistan that send them money to help them survive. And churches and missionaries here in Thailand help them with finances to help them survive. So they have to pay rent and electric. Many of them are sick, they need medicine, food, they have children. It's difficult for them to get an education without a current visa. It's difficult to get an appointment at a hospital. It's impossible to open an account. It's illegal to rent an apartment. There's a lot of things they can't do, so they're really struggling. They're really struggling. These are the people we're ministering to here. Now what happens is they get saved, they get baptized. About half of them wind up making it to another country like Canada, Australia, another country like Hungary in Europe. But about half go back to Pakistan. But they're born again, they're baptized and discipled because they've been here for 4 years. And they're starting ministries in Pakistan. And we're connecting with those people in Pakistan and here, and the ones that are going to other countries. And that's where we're seeing our growth. That's where we're seeing fruit, is in all of these different ministries that are getting planted. However, it's a very difficult and trying time for people while they're here for about 10 years, waiting to get to another country. So in December, we had several families arrested because they overstayed their visa. I'm not going to share any names, but one husband and wife have been here for how many years?
8.
Been here for 8 years. They have a process to get them to Canada now, probably leaving in the next year or so. But they walked down to a 7-Eleven near their apartment on December 5th and an immigration officer saw them and arrested them and put them in 2 separate prisons. And fortunately, she has a heart condition, and because of that, they were able to apply for bail, a special process that we went through and helped them get bail. And so night before last,
Yes.
we went up to a prison where they had brought them to the same place and helped get them out on bail.
And that was actually a huge praise and a blessing because her health was getting so bad. They were actually getting ready to admit her to a hospital because her heart was getting so bad.
She has a valve in her heart that's not functioning, and so she doesn't get the proper circulation. Her oxygen level is really low. So then a few days later, I guess, last week, we have another nonprofit, not religious, but a nonprofit here in town, does medical help for people like them. And the police did a raid because of a complaint someone filed. The police did a raid and arrested 6 people there. 4 of them are in our ministry, and they were just down at this medical place volunteering. And they are in different prisons and trying to find some way to get bail as well. So,
and they're between the ages of 18 and 25. So
Yeah.
their parents are here, and we've been trying to console them as much as we can.
yeah. So we're not saying that because there's anything you can do other than pray, but we want you to know why we're doing so much on Zoom. It's because they can stay in their homes. They have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi's cheap here. They have a smartphone. They can learn, they can grow, they can study, and have fellowship in the safety, relative safety of their own little apartment. And so we subsidize that by going to their apartments and doing discipleship in their apartments. And then we try once a month to have a meeting in person where we bring everyone together. But again, if someone called and complained, and we're in a country that's 92% Buddhist, if someone, and like 6% Muslim, and so if we're in a country like this and someone complains about a bunch of foreigners coming down and having a big meeting and making a lot of noise, which they do, we could have a lot of people arrested. And so it's and then once they go in, they go to the Immigration Detention Center. It's a difficult place for them to be. And then getting a process to another country gets complicated. So that's the reason we do the Zoom ministry. It is a tremendous blessing. COVID was a scourge, it still is, but if it hadn't have been for COVID, I wouldn't have been forced to learn how to use Zoom. And now we've got over 40 families in our Zoom ministries coming to a Sunday worship service together, hearing the preaching of the Word of God, doctrinally sound preaching. Wednesday night prayer meeting, we'll do that here in a little while. A Thursday youth meeting, a Friday men's Bible study, a Saturday ladies Bible study. All of these ministries online. We have people joining in Canada. We had 2 this week on Sunday. We had 2 in Pakistan joining this Sunday. 30 some odd here in Thailand. So it's a growing ministry. It's exciting. It's just not typical. And I thought I would.
We had a memorial service on Friday night for
Yes.
one of the men in our ministry that his mother had passed away in Pakistan.
He hadn't seen her in 14 years and was unable to go to the funeral because he's here as a refugee and can't travel. So we went to their little apartments, and they had a little room that they'd set aside, and we had a memorial service for his mother. And that was broadcast into Pakistan to the family that were still there. So we're staying busy. We're doing a lot of hard work, and we're getting a lot done. Lives are being changed. We're seeing a lot happen. It's exciting. It's just not typical. And wanted to let you know a little bit about that. What else we got going on? Kids are in college in the States?
Yes, tomorrow's their first day back at school, and they're excited about it, looking forward to it, especially Cynthia, as this is her last semester,
Yeah.
finally.
We'll be headed to the States later this year at some point in time. I'll get that information to you all. We got to raise some more money. The ministry just costs money, and so we need to get some more funding. And we'll be in the States here in a few months, for a couple of months, Cynthia's graduation, and then we'll head back here to Thailand. All right, I guess that's about it for this week.
Okay.
Thank you all for your prayers. Thank you for faithfully supporting our ministry. And until next week, God bless you.